This video is brought to you by Dashlane. How's it going, ladies and gents? My name is Frank Furtado, you know me better as Middle 8, and welcome to my favorite albums of 2018 so far. Now, instead of me showcasing a list of 20 or so albums that you might listen to half of, I want to talk about 8 great albums from the first half of this year. That's right, I'm only picking 8 albums that I think you definitely need to listen to, and not an easy task. There has been a ton of great music produced in the last 6 months of the year. There's no filler here. These are albums that are great from front to back. They're innovative in their own ways, and most of all, I think you'll find these albums challenging as a listener. Some of it will push you outside of your regular realm of listening, or you'll find more music similar to your tastes. And I didn't choose these albums just based on this, it's just been a fairly experimental year for music in general, but without further ado, here are my favorite 8 albums of 2018 so far. Beach House, 7. Beach House promised a rebirth with their 7th LP, and they did not disappoint. They rarely ever do. Their sound has been consistent over the course of their entire discography, and they had a really great streak with Teen Dream, Bloom, and Depression Cherry, but they really needed to alter their musical scope going forward. I think this is the biggest they've ever sounded. The instrumentation is really dense while still keeping that airy, dreamy, slow burn quality, and it's a beautiful album. It'll give you complete chills when tracks like Dive really open up. But the album does set a mood and keeps you there. It's definitely more of a night album, at least for me, and there's not many artists who can keep pushing themselves after a decade into their careers, but Beach House does it. It's another solid addition to their discography, in their top 3 for sure. Pusha T, Daytona.
If you know, you know. This thing of ours, oh, this thing of ours.
2018 is already shaping up to be another great year for hip-hop. From the beef between Drake and Pusha T to Kanye producing 5 albums across 5 weeks, and then just recently Jay-Z and Beyonce putting out a collaborative album, it's the most exciting time to be a hip-hop fan. This is Pusha T's most confident solo album yet, starting with such a hard intro, his smooth delivery paired with Kanye's exciting production. It's a masterwork, and at just over 20 minutes long, there's no fat on this album whatsoever. It's tight, it's dark, it's filthy, just like the bathroom on the front cover, and these 7 tracks leave you wanting more, but also ensure that everything you hear on the album is there for a reason. Tropical Storm, a laughing death in meat space. Anyone who's been digging the new albums by Shame, Parquet Courts, Ice Age, Ought, Preoccupations, Flasher, if you like indie rock, particularly punk or noise rock, this should have your attention. Tropical Storm is the new supergroup featuring members of the Drones, High Tension, and Harmony. Aside from a terrifying cover art, an insane band name, and album title, this is something so fresh, so dirty, and just passionate. It's interesting, chaotic, and unpredictable. It's challenging, and creatively so. It's one of those albums that you have to revisit because you'll always find something you've missed on a previous listen. It's loud, and it's definitely intimidating at first, but the melodies will show themselves over time. And what I love most about it is probably the vocals. You get this great blend of male and female voices trading back and forth, keeping it feeling less dark than the album might have been without them. Against All Logic, 2012 to 2017. Against All Logic is the side project of micro house producer Nicholas Jarre, and we're used to him making some minimalist house music, but here he goes full-on sample-heavy house music with his own little twist. The album is a compilation of tracks Jarre put together over the last 5 years and features some of the most accessible music he has made to date. While it's not revolutionary by any means, it's just so well done, so well produced, and fun to listen to. It's Jarre at the top of his game, just showcasing what he can do. The anthems just keep on coming on this one, and because it's mostly instrumental, it's become one of those albums I just have playing in the background while I work. It's just great. Even if you're not into electronic music, definitely dive into this one. US Girls, In a Poem Unlimited. If you're looking for some fun and exciting pop, It's right here. Get ready to honestly be blown away by a lot of the tracks here. There's some sort of timelessness to this album. I can't quite put my finger on it, but it's spunky, vibrant, and groovy all the way through. I had never heard of US Girls before hearing the single Pearly Gates, but after this I had to go and find out what else I was missing out on. If you follow me on Spotify, I posted the single Pearly Gates from this album on my playlist. I played it for everyone I knew. Even if you don't listen to this album, which you should, listen to this track. It's dance, it's disco, it's glam rock, it's psychedelic, and it's all so well done and well produced. There's plenty of variety throughout the track list as well to keep your attention, and if there wasn't already a queen of psychedelic rock, I think we might have found her. Sorry, Melody. Parquet Courts, Wide Awake. Parquet Courts have been delivering consistently good indie rock art punk albums since 2011. They'll remind you a little of Velvet Underground, a little of Talking Heads, and of course, some Minutemen. But in 2016, they seem to really come into their own with Human Performance, bringing some interesting guitar work, great melodies, some abstract lyrics, but a solid release that caught my attention. Wide Awake is a whole new beast. Danger Mouse, who's produced for the likes of Gorillaz, The Black Keys, and Portugal the Man, really brought a great deal of polish to this album, but also his quirky sense of dance. Is that fair to say? I feel like every indie artist he's ever worked with gets a jolt of dance music injected into their music. Everything sounds a little more in your face, the hooks latch on easier than ever before, and there's much more range in sound, and the lyrics carry a little more weight this time around, and they're delivered with some serious emotion while still keeping you dancing. It's honestly a blast to listen to, and the bass lines on this thing. The bass lines on this thing are some of the best I've heard this year. They're one of the most exciting bands in the punk revival genre today. One of the most exciting bands in rock, period. The Voids, Virtue. I've heard someone call this album the musical equivalent of a box of crayons, and it's so true. It's such a colorful album with different flavors of rock. Formerly known as Julian Casablancas and the Voids, the now Voids features the former Strokes frontman as, well, frontman here. And while many might have ignored their debut for its hypnagogic pop, can we just call this experimental rock? Their first album was weird, and that's okay. People still liked it, and this one is weird too, but it's a lot more approachable. You want to stay here with how catchy some of these melodies and choruses are. And not only that, but each track is distinctively different from the last. There's garage rock, doom metal, some hip-hop moments, an Arabic Indian-inspired track as well. It's 15 tracks long. That's the album's problem. It's a great problem to have when there's very little filler. I'm all for the whole, you have to listen to an album the way an artist intended you to, but put this album on shuffle after your first listen. The order or flow isn't ruined by putting it in shuffle, since the track listing is so diverse anyways, plus you'll get to hear more of the album long term like that, considering its long running time, but whatever, play it how you like. There is a great album here, and then some. It's going to be really tough for anyone to top this one for me this year. It's the collaborative effort between Kid Cudi and Kanye West, Kids See Ghosts. I'm so reborn. I'm moving forward. Keep moving forward. Keep moving. It is such a solid album. My expectations were already high, but I did not expect all 7 tracks to be amazing. It's only 23 minutes long, but there is not a moment wasted on this thing. I'm really digging these short albums as of late. They really set a mood. You can digest the whole thing in one sitting or one trip, and I find myself getting through it all and repeating it throughout the day. This is probably the best we've heard from Cudi since Man on the Moon 2. He really sticks to his strengths here. We get the hums, we get his clever lines too, and him singing in his register. Thank God. Like, this is what Man on the Moon 3 should have sounded like. It's that psychedelic rock flavored kind of hip hop. Such a great return to form for Cudi. A progression, if anything. I feel like Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying was his return to form. This was just kind of him, finally executing this new era of Cudi that we've been waiting for. I want another era of Cudi. Please, Kid Cudi, Scott, keep doing more of this. Keep working with the people who made this. It's insane how he's gone from pretty much making some of the worst albums of the year to making potentially the best album of this year so far. We have Kanye producing here as well, the third of 5 weekly consecutive released albums he's been producing, and it's some new turns for even Kanye. But we also get the return of longtime producer, friend, former roommate, bandmate, Dot the Genius, also contributing to that old school Cudi sound, and all of the tracks on this album just feel so personal. And maybe I'm just biased here because Cudi's music meant a lot to me growing up, and this new album it felt like it hit every spot that it really needed to. But the songwriting is just really encouraging. It just feels like a companion kind of album. Go listen to it. It's 23 minutes long. Even if you're not huge into hip-hop, go listen to all these albums. Find something great. I've made a Spotify playlist featuring tracks from all of these albums, so if you head over to Spotify... Oh, one sec. Did you see that? That was Dashlane that just signed me in there, and since we're on the topic of innovative albums, this app is right up there. I got so used to using the same password for everything so I wouldn't forget my logins, but not only does Dashlane generate new strong passwords for all of my accounts, it stores them and instantly signs me into any account across all of your devices. It's pretty dope, and if you buy limited edition vinyl or merch like me, you've probably lost 1 or 2 during the checkout process. Even with concerts, I've lost tickets in between checkout, and it's the worst feeling ever. You can use Dashlane to autofill your payment info so that you never have to scramble for your wallet again. It's so convenient, it's easy to use, but more importantly, all your information is safe and encrypted. Plus, it's free, as in no credit card required free. Use the promo code MIDDLE8 and you'll get 10% off Dashlane Premium, which offers even more features to make your experience seamless across all your devices. Use the first link in the description below and start protecting your accounts and your personal info online. Alright, we're back. Search The Middle Ocho on Spotify or use the link I put down below to take you to my favorite 8 albums playlist. It'll act as a bit of a taster session for all of these albums, and then you can go from there. Tell me, what are your favorite albums of 2018 so far? And also, what are you looking forward to later this year? If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like rating, subscribe to learn more about the music you love, and that's it for me. Thanks for watching, and of course, keep listening.